All right. We are back with Arvel
Yeah.
on WCUR. We did our first take of our interview, and we didn't record it on the right camera. So that was really cool. So we're going to kind of go a little back and forth between some of the older questions and some of the newer questions. So do we want to do introductions again? Or
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So
All right,
left
I'm
to right
Blaine.
here.
I'm the newest member, the drummer of Arvel.
I'm Parker. I do vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Wes. I do lead guitar.
And I'm Noah, and I record things. Not part of the band. So we talked before about how you guys got into music and sort of how we ended up here. American Made is your newest single. Single came out in February, and that is a very charged song.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. We talked about how we got Same Feeling. That's a really beautiful story. How did you get to American Made? Because that, I think, would probably come from a very different place.
Yeah. It's more of like a vague kind of thing, but it's definitely like politically charged. Me and Wes kind of have around the same views politics-wise, and I'm sure Blaine does too, just in general speaking. And we were talking about how like both sides of the political spectrum are hypocritical, and you know, the lyrics, you say what everybody says. They all do the same thing, and they make these fake promises and just for nothing to get done, and they bomb innocent countries and innocent civilians, but they can't give us, you know, affordable health care. Or what's another issue? I don't know.
I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
More than we probably have time to go into.
so it's much more of a vague, politically charged kind of thing.
Is it like sort of the frustration? Like, you are all pretty young,
Yeah.
you know, in the grand scheme of things, and is it like a frustration with your generation, like watching and sort of feeling, I don't want to call it helplessness, but is it sort of just like you're watching what these older generations are doing and like, what is happening? And,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
that's
what
kind of where the charged,
Like what the people in power are doing.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot of them don't listen to us because we're so young.
right.
And there is probably a lot of generational disconnect between there. You look at some of the older Congress members
Mm-hmm.
and people our age.
Right.
I'm sure there's a huge bridge between us that
Yeah.
as far as communication and stuff like that goes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was an obvious question, I think, just because, you know, you look at the album art, you listen to the lyrics, and you can figure that out pretty quick. And, yeah, it's a challenging climate for sure. And I think music is definitely one of those things that's going to be able to say sort of what it feels like can't be said versus, you know, what really needs to be said. And I think, you know, music is a phenomenal avenue for that. And I'm really glad that, like, people my age are making music to express that. That's really cool. In terms of, like, musical styles, where do you land in terms of, like, how is your style shaped by your life experience, and then why is that your preferred style of music? Is it because of what you can express through it, or, you know, what are the factors that kind of get you in there in terms of picking your genre and how you make your music and the sound you go for?
I would say, I mean, like what we grew up on, or just like...
It could be anything. It could be like, I grew up on this, so this is the music I make, or this music helps me, like, release emotion more. I can say what I want to say through this medium. Like, what goes into that for you?
Yeah. I mean, I told you before, I grew up on Green Day. That's my favorite band, and my dad taught me about them, and I got into them, and so I kind of like dove into like pop punk, and then I got more into like real punk, like Sex Pistols and Misfits and stuff like that, and then I got into like alternative rock. I know like Bush was the second band I really got into, and later in life, as I was saying before, Hum is a huge influence on our sound, so that's kind of where I get my side of it.
Yeah, I grew up on like Hum, Sunny Day Real Estate, Smashing Pumpkins, and then I started getting more into metal at like, I think around like 10, and then yeah.
I followed the same suit there growing up, like MXPX, Smashing Pumpkins,
Yeah.
grunge scene, NoFX. And then it slowly evolved into heavier stuff. I like a lot of Pennsylvania metal, and stuff, but as far as actually producing that ourselves, I don't think that's the sound we're going for. So,
How do you see that changing, like, as you've gotten older, or has it really just been like your bedrock for the most part?
For the most part, I've still really been into pop punk. I mean, I've definitely gotten more into like heavier stuff, me personally, and I know Wes has gotten into heavier stuff, and Blaine's gotten into heavier stuff. So I guess as we get older, we just get bored of a specific sound, and we want to kind of like, you know, get into different territories. But for the most part, I still really enjoy the stuff I listen to. Like, it's such a stupid band to listen to. Newfound Glory.
Okay.
I love their music, so it's very it's nostalgic, I guess, and it still has the same energy when I listen to it.
Yeah. You guys are looking for a bassist right now.
Yes.
What are some of the ways that you three work together that you would kind of want out of a fourth member in the band? Like, how does that, what helps you all mesh together so well?
Definitely the fact we're all close in age, so there's not like an awkward kind of, because you work with people who are older than you, and there's either like kind of like a fear of being disrespectful to them, or just they have more experience and you feel kind of left out or anything like that. And another thing is we all have kind of like around the same musical taste.
Right.
In like, I know Wes is super into like, what's it called? Like opium stuff.
Yeah.
He's super into that.
Not
Blaine's
as much anymore.
Blaine's really into, would you say it was when I was over at your house? Cypress Hill?
oh
Yeah.
Cypress Hill.
I like Kanye, and
I like
I
my
love
90s
Kanye.
hip hop.
I'm more into like 90s like Beastie Boys and like later Beastie Boys and stuff like that. What's another thing? I guess we're all pretty responsible. We practice a lot, and we're driven by music, so
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
yeah.
That's
as you
a
can
big
see.
one. As you can tell by being in college radio, we don't take ourselves very seriously either, and I think that makes every process a lot more fun. Even when it comes to the hard stuff, is like, it is what it is. It
It's just-
kind of becomes the motto.
It's so much easier to just
Yeah. And because then you can just like let go, and it doesn't matter because it's like we're doing this for fun.
For
We
sure.
like it, and that doesn't. So how does like your following sort of affect your? Do you think that you guys are pretty firmly planted in terms of like no matter what? Like, I guess I'm going more of like the sellout question. Like, what would it take to change your sound? Like, if the fans stopped liking it, how committed are you to it? And I mean that genuinely because like I just think it's important. As a musician, how committed are you to your sound? And like, have you guys seen that clip of like Rick Rubin talking about music?
How the audience goes last.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I would agree with him. I'm kind of iffy when people say like bands sold out. Like people tried saying Green Day sold out when they got popular, and they just took an opportunity to grow, and that's not really selling out. That's just expanding your music. But if you're genuinely like letting someone buy you out and change your sound, that feels kind of disrespectful to the fans, and you're not respecting yourself as an artist that much.
I think growing as an artist is an important thing too. Like you can't just be making the same stuff and
Right.
and following the same. You know what I mean? You got to change stuff up every now and again and keep people interested.
It's when you're not growing, you're dying.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and I don't know why Rick Rubin just popped into my head in that moment. It was like, I wonder if they agree with Rick Rubin. Trying to get y'all a record deal. Does Rick Rubin even do rock?
I have
don't know
no
what he's
idea.
involved with.
He did Metallica's album.
We love you, Rick Rubin.
Is the camera still going?
It is.
Okay.
It's running.
I think that's what that red light's for.
I hope.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's either that or it's going to die, but it looks like it's still recording.
I think it's recording.
It's great. We're AV professionals here at WCUR. What do you guys have? So you have an EP coming out. What juicy details can you give? I want to know.
The drums are not
That's good.
recorded.
Yeah, the drums have yet to be recorded because our first drummer left the day we went in to record, or like the night before. It's a very long story. We're not getting into
That's
that.
okay.
But he kind of left us hanging for a bit. but we finally got Blaine, so it's underway again. 6 songs, including the intro. They're very good songs. Our
There's
best,
different sounds.
yes, our best material
There's
yet.
some heavier songs and some lighter songs.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of Turnstile influence, if
Okay.
you like Turnstile, like more modern punk,
Sure.
Title fight.
Title
too.
Fight influence.
Okay.
So we're basically evolving our sound in a way.
Yeah.
So
You're growing.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you make, how do you come up with like a new sound? Like it's inspired by something, but like physically, like, is it in the guitar? Is it in the edit? Is it in, Logic or whatever you use to record? Like where do those come from most often?
I would say just riff writing. I mean, I take a lot of influence, like from Matt Talbot from Hum. He's one of my biggest guitar influences. Him and Ken Andrews from Failure.
Yeah.
They completely changed the way I write music. So ever since I got into them, I used to just do like straight power chords, Green Day style, but they kind of helped me, like, Smashing Pumpkins too. I like the dissonant kind of chords, and it's just really sonically kind of like pleasing.
Yeah.
I don't know about Wes.
I think I think Kirk Weinstein of Crowbar kind of, his riffing styles kind of inspired me because it's like he can write super heavy riffs, but then they're still catchy at the same time.
Yeah.
What about you?
A lot of grunge influence, especially with this upcoming EP. Smashing Pumpkins, stuff like that.
Okay. So you're on an island. You get one album. I could make it one single, but that would be worse.
Yeah.
That would be worse.
Graduation.
So you get one album.
I don't know.
Honestly, that made me think of Life of Pablo.
That's a good one.
That
I have a Life of Pablo hoodie under this table
There you
right
go.
now.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the most influential. I guess I have 3 choices in my head.
What are the 3?
Either Dookie by Green Day. You'd Prefer an Astronaut by Hum. Or I Don't Want to Grow Up by Descendants. But if I had to pick one, I would say Dookie, because Green Day started it all for me.
There you go. So then, all right, follow-up question. What are you listening on? What are you bringing with you? So you could bring any you want to bring a gramophone? Like
I would say CD, because
Okay.
tape is super annoying to deal with.
True.
Vinyls are so hard to take care of and very
on an island, it's bound to get ruined.
yeah.
I don't think sand and vinyl do well together.
Yeah. I personally prefer CDs. That's what I'm not
Yeah.
that old, but that
No,
young. I just grew up with CDs. So.
Early enough in the 2000s before streaming.
Yeah.
I'd probably just bring like an iPod and earbuds.
iPod and your classic.
Yeah.
Reliable even.
I was gonna
How
say.
are you going to charge that though? I mean, that's true. I guess we're assuming electricity for any of those.
Yeah.
But what are you bringing?
I think I'm going with that.
iPod and streaming?
Yeah.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice.
Making me feel old.
Bro.
I'm the youngest one here.
I still have a CD player in my car. I got.
So do I.
Oh, we have one too. Nobody uses it.
Yeah.
So just background context, we can cut this later. I'm the training director here.
Mhm.
I don't do a lot of the stuff with music, but I do all of our new students that want to join. They come through me. And this was the first semester in 2 years that someone said, I would like to use the CD player. And I was like, cool, I got to go figure out how it works. I'll get back to you because I've never ran it on air before.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and pick what I would pick. I'm not bringing anything to an island. Awesome. So I think that's about as much as I have in the tank, unless I come up with anything really sporadic at the last minute. He's scaring me pointing his camera at me. But I do want to say thank you guys for coming all the way out here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It sounds like you're on the way to something else too, and wish you guys the best. We'll definitely have you guys on rotation at WCUR. Hopefully we'll be able to get this on air and your singles. Let us know when that EP comes out. Send us something. We will pop it out there for you guys. And yeah, thanks for coming out here, guys.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Yeah.